Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your Vedic astrology coach Rajat Kapoor and welcome to my channel The Legit Astrologer. In my channel I make videos on Vedic astrology, I talk about transits. Today this is a special video for the year 2026 wherein I am going to give you a very systematic step-by-step predictions, transit effects, what you can expect based on the transit. You should read these transits, align them with the ongoing dashas and the yogas that are there in your chart, because transits will not and cannot become the sole deciding factor of what's going to happen in your life in the year 2026. Here I have categorized this into 4 categories. It's an important introduction, so please listen to this and then we'll jump straight into all the ascendant signs. Now, the 4 categories that I'm going to talk about is health, which should be the number 1 priority for everyone, your career, relationship, and also your finances. So for each and every ascendant sign, these are the 4 areas which we are going to discuss based on major transits of Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu and Ketu, and also taking insights from the transit of Mars, Venus, Mercury, as well as Sun or Surya. And I'm going to give you the most holistic as well as detailed view, and we will stick to some months wherein you can maximize and some time periods where you have to exercise utmost caution. So this is one of the most detailed and holistic views of the year 2026. Let's understand how this is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs. I'm not going to focus on Chandra Rashis here, but I'm only going to focus on all 12 ascendant signs. For Aries ascendant signs or the Aries Lagna. Now the year 2026, what is that you can expect in this year? So let's start with health related matters. That is our first category, first subject to talk about. So for health, firstly the ascendant lord matters, which is Mars. So we will take into reference Mars's transit, the 6th lord Mercury, and of course planets that are influencing your 6th house, 8th house, 12th house, and also your Lagna, also the ascendant, and the kind of efforts that you will put in terms of your health. So this is where 3rd house also comes into picture. Now we must take into account that Saturn moving through your 12th house at an extremely fast pace for the first 5 to 6 months. It will cover about 20 degrees in the sign of Pisces. It is having a direct influence on your 6th house. This will be even stronger after July, because that time Saturn will have a very strong aspect of desire here. So this will be a time period wherein you will have to put in a lot of discipline towards your health, towards your lifestyle. Saturn calls for disciplined life. Saturn calls for fixing any digestive issues, stomach related issues, which are persistent with your food, and also to bring in a sense of discipline with your sleep, because your sleep could have some disruption in the first few months of 2026, and this is something which you have to take care of all the while. April to May, these are the 2 months wherein you have to exercise utmost caution. There will be a 3 planetary conjunction in your 12th house. Saturn, Mercury and Mars will be forming a yoga in your 12th house. All of them will be having an aspect of drishti on the 6th house, which is not the most idealistic period when it comes to your health, when it comes to your well-being. There could be a hospital visit. Make sure that you go for a regular routine checkup around this time. August onwards, I do expect a greater sense of improvement in your health, a greater sense of vitality, because this is where Jupiter will also make a move, will enter Cancer, and of course, you would be in a position to improve your vitality, improve your immunity all the while. And you have to consciously focus on your lifestyle. Some lifestyle decisions will be very evident, particularly in the second half of the year, if you were to bring things back on track. And I expect this to be more or less an above average year for you from health point of view. I've already given you the months where you have to exercise caution and at the same time make health your priority. Let us talk about your career. What is happening as far as your career, work, profession, your job, business opportunities are concerned. So this is where Shani becomes important, because he's your 10th lord. Your lucky lord Mars becomes important. Surya becomes important, who's your 5th lord. And of course, Jupiter also becomes important, who is the 9th lord of Bhagya or fortune. So the 10th Lord Saturn making a transit in the 12th house of expenses. The Lord of Karma, the Lord of Profession, has gone into the Vyaya Bhava. So this year you have to put in extra efforts. You will get new projects, new assignments, you will get some unconventional work opportunities. You might also get opportunities from distant lands, from places that are far off, foreign lands. Jupiter making a transit in your third house will bring in change or a shift of residence or a movement of residence that is most likely within the first half of the year. Post April, I do see new work opportunities, new job opportunities, and also business expansion coming your way, wherein this could be your chance to maximize. Jupiter will also be moving in a direct motion, that is in your third house, of course, making a connection with the seventh house. And at the same time, this will have a joint impact on your ninth house, both Saturn and Jupiter, which also supports Bhagya. So there are plenty of opportunities that you will get with regards to enhancing your knowledge. With regards to promotion, growth opportunities, June through November is your time. Particularly July onwards, I do see things moving very much in a positive direction. Jupiter having a positive influence on your 10th house. Saturn going retrograde in the 12th house is going to be good because it will minimize work-related obstacles and opportunity. It will ensure that your efforts don't go wasted and you will continue to build foreign connections. Now this is where I also expect things to little bit obstruct your creativity, because Ketu making a transit in your 5th house and Rahu in the 11th house will cause an obstruction in terms of your creativity, and you will need to face a sense of, you'll have to strike a sense of balance between your subordinates and your supervisors, especially if you're in a mid-managerial kind of a role. This is where you will struggle March through August, but after that I do see a great sense of progress, recognition, and also chances of promotion coming your way. Let us talk about relationships, how this year is going to be in terms of relationship. Here we'll take into account Venus's transit, who's your 7th Lord, and the 2nd Lord. Of course, Jupiter's transit, because he will be influencing the 7th house. And at the same time, there are several other factors as well. Surya has to be taken into account along with some other planets. Now, Jupiter protects your relationship March through June. Before that, it will go in a retrograde motion. It will be Vakri. You have to be careful, cautious about your communication and relationship. Post that, when it moves in a direct motion, you can expect some respite. You can expect some ties to improve. And of course, if you've been looking forward to getting married, there is a yoga for getting married as well. The yoga for marriage is more prevalent between mid-January to mid of March. Thereafter, mid-April to mid-June is also a favorable yoga when it comes to settling down, in case this supports your dasha. Your dasha has to be the primary deciding factor. Yogas and a promise of marriage has to be a primary deciding factor. January through March, the first quarter of the year, you could expect some relationship level conflict, wherein you have to be very much focused in terms of building harmony, building that understanding, and avoid getting into some ego traps, which could probably be detrimental towards your relationship. In the month of March, your expenditure could increase when it comes to expenses on relationship, expenses related to your spouse, your partnership, or those people who are married. So this is where you have to take some calculative steps. You have to do some sort of budget exercise, and of course have very clear expectations with your partner. Let us talk about how your financial well-being is going to be in the year 2026. Now this is seen by Dhan Yoga. So Venus plays an important role, Sun plays an important role, Jupiter and also Saturn plays an important role in terms of ensuring financial prosperity. There are a number of Dhan Yogas which I foresee post June, because June is when Jupiter enters Cancer in your 4th house, that's your 9th Lord, making a connection with the Kendra house, and also in a yoga will foster financial stability. There are more chances of an increase in your income, some sort of recognition, or a rise in finances between August, September. These are the 2 months wherein you could have some sort of good time frame. Now Saturn making a transit in your 12th house. See, he is your 10th Lord and the 11th Lord. The one who rules your work, profession, and also your income is been moving in the 12th house of expenditure losses. So there are increased expenditures. Related to your work, you would want to expense on social circles, on friends. So be very careful of the choices that you make and try to curtail. In case it doesn't have an impact on you, go ahead. You can organize parties, you can organize social gatherings, but this could be a little bit detrimental, and this is where you have to be a bit cautious. Other friends might like you to spend money on group gatherings. So this is where you have to be very clear of the expectation and also the discussion. There has to be a lot of efforts to be put in the first half of the year, because the pace of work is going to be very much on the higher side. You would undergo some office politics, which could probably cause some mental level financial uncertainty. Maybe you might have an uncertainty that you're going to lose your job or you're going to be made redundant. So these are the kind of feelings that you will have in the first half of the year. There is a major, if there's a major investment decision, I would urge you to avoid. Most of the time this year, particularly in the first half of the year, you should avoid any major investment decisions. Rahu is going to be moving very strong in Shatabisha, Ketu in Magha, especially between March through August is a time wherein your expenses could have an increasing trend. This is where you have to do some sort of budget exercise. And here is a holistic view of the year 2026 in terms of your health. That has to be the number one priority, followed by career, your relationships, and also your financial well-being. I wish you the very best in the year 2026. Taurus ascendant signs. The year 2026, the annual forecast, predictions, effects based on transits that you will relate to the ongoing dashas and also the yogas in your chart. Here I am going to give you the view of 4 important areas of your life: your health, career, relationships, and also financial development or financial prosperity, and give you the most detailed analysis based on important transits of Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu, Ketu, also taking into account Mars, Venus, Mercury, and Sun's transit. So let's deep dive in health related matters for Taurus ascendant signs or the Taurus Lagna. Now for this, Venus transit plays a very important role because that becomes your Lagna Lord and also your 6th Lord. Saturn becomes very important because he is the Yogakara Graha for you, and at the same time Jupiter, who's the 8th Lord, also holds a great importance in health related matters. So does Mars because he is the 12th Lord. So I do make sense that 2026 you have excellent health and a chance of recovery from any past diseases or previous health concerns that have been there in your life. So between February through June is an excellent time for you to recover from any past illness, any previous health issue. Momentarily, only between March and April, you have to exercise a little bit caution. There could be some hospital visit, there could be a little bit of health scare, but most of the time, I do expect a greater sense of recovery. Jupiter will have a very beneficial aspect on your 6th house when it moves through the sign of Gemini. And while it moves in a direct motion, this aspect will be even more beneficial post-March. But only between March and April, you have to exercise certain caution. Now, these issues that you might face would be more related to your lifestyle. And this is where second half of the year, you have to be careful, you have to be cautious, because you might have some erratic lifestyle, or you may make some such decisions with regards to your life choices and of course your routine that could hinder your health. Stay away from any lethargic tendencies, laziness, or this kind of attitude. As long as Saturn moving in your 11th house is aspecting your ascendant, it does bring in delay, but it brings lethargy, it brings laziness in your life as well. And this is where you need to increase your strength. So I would advise you to do strength-based training or exercises that are predominantly focused on strength building. This is how you channel your 12th Lord Mars in the most appropriate way. This year, you have to have a sense of lifestyle that should avoid any issues related to high cholesterol or any heart related conditions or heart related diseases, because Ketu moving through your 4th house is an Agni Tattva Graha. It will be in Magha Nakshatra. It will move through very strong in terms of transit. So this is not a good time period when it comes to these issues. So first half of the year is your time, your momentum to focus on healthy lifestyle and of course the choices. That could probably keep your cholesterol and other things at check and also under great control. Now let's talk about career. This is where Shani becomes very important, your Lagna Lord becomes very important, Mercury becomes important, and Jupiter also becomes important. So this year you are working with new people, new projects, new assignment, new job opportunities, but you will be involved in dirty office politics. So people with authority can cause some sense of obstruction, and you would be pushed into a situation so that you are involved in the blame game or probably a grapevine situation or some sort of office politics. So stay away from gossips, stay away from rumors, focus on your independent work, and be very ethical of your decision making, because there are no shortcuts to success. Rahu making a transit in your 10th house will incline you towards making shortcuts, particularly when it is moving very strong in Shatvisha Nakshatra. Later, when it changes and moves into Dhanishta Nakshatra, your fortune will have a rise, you could get new opportunities, but please be careful of any office related scandals. Alright, work gains are there in the first half of the year. In the first half of the year, you could expect some gains from your work. Jupiter's beneficial aspect on Rahu and on your 10th house. Saturn moving at a very fast pace in the 11th house. You will step into newer opportunities. You will have a chance to increase your income before June. In case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive, you're getting an incentive, you're getting a bonus or an increase in your income. Or if it is related to your business, you could have some major business opportunities as well, or major contracts. But increased office politics will be there after June. So this is where you have to exercise utmost caution, and this is where you have to stick to the path of righteousness in order to maximize this year when it comes to career related opportunities. Let's talk about relationship. How is the year for you when it comes to relationship, for those people who are married and also those people who are not married, who are a bachelor? So there is increased relationship prosperity that I do make sense, which will be there in the first quarter of the year. January through March is your time of increased relationship prosperity. Jupiter going Vakri and also making a connection in some manner with your 6th house and also your 10th house. And when it goes Vakri, it helps you to evolve your self decision making. Okay, decisions that are very much related to yourself. So I do make sense that this will increase prosperity in relationship. And also between July through November is also a very favorable time for relationship related prosperity. And of course, those people who are single, who are looking forward to getting married, there is a very good marriage yoga which is there July onwards, and that lasts till November. So there are very strong chances for people to get married in case their Dasha Antardasha is supportive. If not married, you could step into a new, stable, long-term relationship. April through June is when you will face issues with regards to ego, with regards to conflict if you're already married, with regards to your partner, and also not the most ideal time to step into a new relationship. This year there is increased dharma in your relationship due to Jupiter. Jupiter, when it moves in the 3rd house, it will make a direct connection with the 9th house. Now 3rd house is your dharma in relationship, because this is 9th from the 7th house. So Jupiter creates expansive tendencies and it is Maran Karak in this transit. So you have to be very diligent, you have to be very dutiful, duty bound, and be very clear of mutual expectations that you set June onwards. Avoid ego, stay grounded, and increase your dharma in your relationship. Let's talk about finances, financial development, financial prosperity is how the flow of money will be, how the flow of income will be, and the kind of dhan yogas that are pretty much active in your chart. So there are very good dhan yogas between January through April. Jupiter making a transit in your 2nd house is forming a dhan yoga. Shani is in very powerful dhan yoga. And of course, your financial prosperity is inevitable. There has to be a rise in your income in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. There are greater financial prospects within the first 4 months of the year. August through November is another opportunity window for increased financial opportunity. So you could either get an incentive, rise in income in the first quarter of the year, or after August and before November, there is also another opportunity. But you have to be careful with from other people. Do not disclose your wealth plans, your investment plans, and of course, your source of income with other people, because you would be susceptible towards some negative energies. See, the Rahu Ketu axis is still in your 10 and the 4 axis. So that could disrupt your comfort level, especially with people at work. And of course, some of your known people who you trust as well. So be very secretive of your financial developments, financial plans, and also your saving plans. Avoid showing off your income or some sort of gains that you have. Avoid getting into that kind of an ego trap. And be very humble about your finances. At the same time, this year you should give, you should help, you should donate to others, donate on Tuesdays. That is a good day for you. There could be some challenges, some blockages that are indicated between May through July when it comes to financial development, when it comes to financial prosperity. That is not the most ideal time to make any long-term investment decisions. Yes, after that, either before that in the first quarter, you can make some important financial decisions, or you could do that after August, wherein there is also a greater chance, and this year you can gain from some past investments as well that can give you some good results. And this is a holistic view with regards to your health. That has to be a number one priority, your career, relationship, and also finance. I wish you the very best in the year 2026. Gemini ascendant signs or the Gemini Lagna folks, the year 2026, what is this year bringing for you when it comes to 4 important areas of life: your health, your career, your relationships, and your finances. So I have categorized this unique transit video into these 4 categories, and I have taken into account all transits, and based on my research, I've come up with certain highs of the year, lows of the year based on these categories, and this video will be useful for you throughout the year. You might want to refer back to this video 10 times, 20 times in order for your planning and your continuous development and continuous prosperity. Now for Gemini ascendant signs, let's talk about health, because since this is the year of Surya, this has to be the year of health, the year of vitality. That has to be the number one priority for us. Now I want to give you the word of caution that weight management can be a little bit challenging for you, particularly in the first half of the year till June, because Brihaspati or Jupiter, if it makes a transit in the ascendant, somehow gets connected to the ascendant, it creates expansion. Thereafter it will move in the second house, where it also creates expansion with regards to food, with regards to what we consume. So overall, don't be complacent, don't have a relaxed attitude, take care of your food, take care of your diet, because diet will be the only important factor to manage your weight. Yes, you can exercise, you can work out, but it will take you considerable amount of efforts, maybe 3, 4, 5 times more effort than it takes to another individual. So weight is the only issue that I foresee this year. If there have been any persistent health issues that you've had, there are greater chances that these health issues are going to be fixed post June. So between June through September, you have a greater opportunity to fix your health, but some decisions you have to take within the first 2 months of the year, within January, February and September, October. These are 2 months wherein you have to exercise utmost caution. 2 phases of this year wherein you have to exercise utmost caution. This is due to the transit of Mars, who's your 6th lord. You have to maintain discipline, exercise, work out, and of course, make the most of the opportunity post June. Go for a regular health checkup, go for a routine health checkup, and at the same time, be very careful of your diet. So if you bring in some changes in your lifestyle, in your diet, that will be good for you. And this year, you must prioritize your health. You must prioritize your weight management. That is most important for you. You will be very disciplined, diligent about your work, but please do not miss out in bringing discipline in your personal life. Do yoga, sadhana, some natural practices. You will be able to bring some level of consistency in your life. Let us now talk about your career, your work. This is where Saturn becomes important, Jupiter becomes important, Mercury becomes important, Venus becomes important, and also Mars becomes important, because these rule some important houses that depict your career growth and of course financial prosperity. Moon also becomes important from a financial growth point of view. So there is slow career growth this year, but there are bigger, better, brighter opportunities. Most importantly, this is the year wherein you should step into opportunities or pick up roles or do something that you are very well connected to your soul level. You will get support of seniors, you will get support of supervisors, seniors, your old colleagues, ex-bosses. Particularly the first quarter of the year, it's an excellent time for you to reach out to your previous organizations, people who you used to work with in the past, and get aligned with maybe your ex-bosses whom you were getting along really well. So you have a greater opportunity to bounce back to one of your old or previous organizations or the people who you were working with. You have to make some sustainable career choices because see, Saturn in the 10th house gives you a long-term view. He's a long-term player. Jupiter is moving through your Lagna. You will have a lot of confidence. People will come to you to take advice. There is major career direction for you between January through June and a possible movement in the second half. If in case you're looking for a job change or change of work in the second half of the year, that could trigger a movement. This is where Shani goes retrograde, Jupiter enters your second house, and on the basis of transit of Mars, Venus and Mercury around this time, I have come to this conclusion. Now, cold energies are predominantly active at work, which means that you would want to isolate, you would want to work independently, work individually, and sometimes you can take the best decisions independently or as an individual. Have a very holistic view. See, remember, Saturn in the 10th house is the king maker. That is the kind of capacity. He is giving you the power of labor. Now, the power of labor will put you in a very fast-paced motion in the first half of the year. And second half is more of movement, is more of bringing that shift. And of course, a progressive path. So this year for you, career should be about a meaningful opportunity wherein you find your meaning and purpose and step into that right kind of role. Continue to remedy Saturn and also Jupiter to maximize career opportunities in your case. Now let's move to the relationship bit and what is this year bringing for you when it comes to relationship. So obviously Jupiter, when it makes a transit in the ascendant, makes a connection with your 7th house, particularly when it is going retrograde. There are marriage yogas on the cards. First 6 months, most precisely mid of January through mid of March, there is one yoga. Thereafter, mid-April through mid-June, there is another yoga for marriage, and of course towards the end of the year as well. So there are multiple yogas of marriage, of settling down this year. This year is very positive, will bring long-standing associations, long-standing partnerships and also new relationships. However, you have to watch your ego because when Jupiter is in strength and Shani is in strength, in both cases, they will move through prominent houses. Saturn is the 10th house, Jupiter in the Lagna, thereafter moving in the second house, creating a Simhasana yoga. Rahu is also in the 9th house. So you will be very high-headed. You could have some aggressive tendencies as well. So cool yourself down and of course manage, channel your aggressive tendencies and stay grounded. Be very humble and also respectful. Your expenses related to relationship may rise between April and May. Because your 12th house is going to have some heavy energy. This is also based on Venus's transit. Now this is where you have to do some budget exercise before that so you can manage the heavy expenditure during April-May because you might have some long-term plans. You might have to incur some expenditure in terms of buying some big items for your house or of course related to movement as well. Post-September, there are greater chances of stepping into some romantic new relationship for those people who are single if your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. This is the best time, the most ideal time for you to establish that relationship. But that doesn't mean that you cannot do or probably step into a relationship before that because your Dasha and the yogas will always supersede. I do expect this year to be much better when it comes to relationship and much stronger for you. Now let's talk about your financial development, your financial growth, your financial prosperity, how that is going to be this year. So firstly, let's start with the end of the year. So between September to December, there is greater financial growth, there is greater financial prosperity, and of course, there are greater chances for you to close some big agreements, massive deals, or gain from either real estate ventures or your personal ventures as well. This year, you must look at starting a secondary source of income. Most likely after May, there are greater chances for you to start a secondary source of income, a second job. That could be a contractual job or picking up some ad hoc projects, fractional assignments. That could be good for you. Now, there is financial rise June onwards because Jupiter will be in a very strong Dhan Yoga. Shani is supportive. Even after that, when it goes retrograde, Saturn, and of course there are multiple Dhan Yogas that are working through between June through September, wherein you could expect some sort of financial benefit, some sort of financial gain is indicated, more so between August and September. So the second half, you have to accumulate, you have to focus more on savings, because your expenditure will increase. April and May, you will incur a lot of expenditure. So you have to focus more on savings, you have to focus more on accumulation. That could help you in some challenging times, that could help you in some troubled times to take care of your daily necessities, to take care of your family, to take care of yourself, and of course your decision making as well. Continue to help others, donate to the best capacity that you can, donate to places of worship. That will be absolutely beneficial for you. It could be a temple, Gurudwara, any place of worship based on your belief system, you must donate. I hope this year helps you in terms of building strong immunity, which is your health, brings meaningful career opportunities, strengthens your relationship, and also puts focus on financial prosperity. My best wishes for the year 2026. Cancer Ascendant signs, the year 2026. This is a very differentiated video wherein I am bringing 4 important areas of your life: health, your career, relationship, and also financial prosperity, financial well-being, and giving you the most detailed view of what you can expect. I am going beyond Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu's transit and taking into account the other transit as well based on my research and analysis. And of course, you have to relate it to your ongoing dashas, the yogas that are there in your chart. And I hope this video will be extremely helpful for you. You might revisit this video a number of times, and this will be useful for you throughout the year 2026. Now, your ascendant is ruled by Moon, by Chandra. So this year you have to definitely strengthen your mind. Your mind will only be strengthened if you focus on good health. Because if you focus on good health, good healthy habits, and of course improving your immunity, your mind will work in unlimited potential, will have unlimited potential and will work to the best of its ability. These are interconnected. Your mental health is very much connected to your physical health as well, and this should go hand in hand. So this year there has to be a prime focus on your health, on your well-being between January through June. Jupiter is making a transit in the 12th house. So whichever house Jupiter makes a transit, he expands the matters related to that house. Your 6-12 axis is pretty much involved. Your 6th house has the aspect of Jupiter as well as Saturn by the virtue of double transit. So your health and improvement in health has to be the number one priority. You will do that through daily practices, daily routine, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. If you've had some past health issues related to your gut, related to stomach, or also related to your legs, there will be significant improvement between March through June. This is the time period based on multiple transits. If you have any past health issues, if you have any persistent health issues, or probably issues related to genetics as well, something related to sugar, diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, you would be in a position to bring down. This is the opportunity window for you. But yes, you have to be very mindful, very careful of any stomach related issues, particularly in the first half of the year. There are some hospital visits that are indicated. So I recommend you to go for a routine regular health checkup. If you go for a regular health checkup, from a karmic standpoint, you are fulfilling your duty, you are fulfilling your action. So this way it somehow, indirectly protects you. And this is a good karma that you must fulfill. So go for a timely health checkup. And if there are any stomach related issues, I do expect these issues to get better after June. So after June, Brihaspati will be in your Lagna in the ascendant, giving you complete protection. And based on multiple other transits as well, because he's your 6th lord, and based on the transit of Saturn, based on the transit of Mercury, also Venus, I do expect June through August, any stomach related issues to improve. But you have to watch your weight in the second half of the year, because that could be the area of concern. You would be lethargic, you would want to consume a lot. And if you want to shed, or probably if you want to shred, or if you want to cut down on your weight, it will take you more effort. So be prepared for putting more efforts. Now your opportunity is before June, you could probably fix a few things in your life and bring that back on track. This year your sleep is going to improve, and this will be very supportive in bringing good levels of energy in your life. Let us now talk about career. where your career direction is headed. So Mars transit plays an important role, Jupiter's transit, Moon of course plays an important role, and Saturn, being the natural Karam Karak, also plays a very important role. Venus and Sun also play an important role in terms of financial development with regards to work. So between April through June, there are greater, better career opportunities, new opportunities, either chances of promotion, success, growth, recognition. In case your Dasha Antardasha is right, it is apt, and there are favorable yogas in your chart. By the virtue of transit of Saturn, Jupiter, Venus and also Mars, there are greater chances for you to get success between April, May, June. These are the months wherein you can maximize career opportunities. So if you were to apply for a new job, if you were to step into a new role, you must do this between February, March, so that between the timeline of April to June, you can step into newer, bigger, better opportunities, and you should not underestimate yourself. There could be sudden changes in your career. There could be sudden changes in your job, new project, structural changes, new work requirements, new alignments, and of course, people could change, projects could change, and this can happen all of a sudden. So be prepared for these sudden changes, and this is quite continuous. There will be more changes in the first quarter of the year, and then between March through July is also a time period wherein you will experience momentary sudden changes, but this is more prevalent in the first quarter of the year. Build plenty of patience, perseverance. If you have a business, I do anticipate new growth opportunities. This was quite prevalent between June through September. If you run your business, you could have new contracts, new agreements, new work, bigger work, better work, and of course greater responsibility during these months wherein you have to maximize, and of course continue to strengthen Mars, continue to exercise, eat right, and work out to bring meaningful career opportunities in your life. Let us talk about relationship. This is where Saturn's transit plays a very important role. Of course, Moon plays a very important role. Jupiter as well as Mercury plays a very important role in your life because they also channel desire in relationship. So there is relationship prosperity, good news. First quarter of the year between January through March, there is definitely relationship prosperity. Also between July through November is another time window where there is relationship prosperity that is indicated based on these important transits in your case. So this is where you can maximize. Yes, this year there is a yoga for you to get married as well. This is predominantly there between July through October and also in November to some extent. So this is where you can probably find a match and of course decide on getting married as well in case you are single, in case you are looking forward to getting married. Now 3 months between April through June, you have to be careful of ego traps, of conflict in relationship, of any quarrels, any argument with your partner if you're already in the relationship. This is a sensitive phase when it comes to relationship matters. And this is where you have to continue to strengthen Mars, continue to strengthen Jupiter as well to give you the right kind of guidance, judgment and the levels of energy, and most importantly channeling these levels of energy that is important for you. Increased dharma is there in your relationship. This is due to Jupiter. So please, because your dharma trine is very much active after June, watch your increased work related and also relationship related expenditure that is going to increase in the first quarter of this year. More so before June, you would want to incur on other people, incur on partnership, incur a lot on your spouse, and of course these expenses would increase, and this is what you need to watch out for. Let us also talk about your financial prosperity now that we've started speaking about finances. June through August is a period of financial growth where you can expect salary increase, but be very careful of potential expenditure as well before that. Before June, there is increased expenditure. June through August, there is a time window where there could be some level of financial prosperity. Either you get a rise in your income, incentive, recognition, or some sort of bonus. In case you have business, you might win some new contracts, new agreements. But be mindful of the potential expenditure. Reduce that consciously. Plan for a budget. See, if Rahu dominates in your dasha or even Ketu dominates in your dasha, You can expect financial fluctuations. Sudden financial fluctuations are indicated if your dasha has a role of Rahu or Ketu. Be very mindful, be very careful, and avoid unnecessary spend. There could be sudden losses. You could be susceptible to some high level scam as well. So be very careful. You are knowledgeable, right? If we all are educated here, right? In case someone calls you or tries to impersonate, be very, very careful of online scams, fraudulent transactions, and of course other people who could cause a detrimental impact on your mental as well as financial wealth. This is where you have to stay utmost caution, and I hope that you continue to focus on your health, financial prosperity, continue to make the right choices with regards to your career, and bring stability in your relationship. May you have the best 2026. Leo ascendant signs. How is the year 2026 for you when it comes to 4 important areas of life? And I'm taking into account major planetary transits. I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of preparation before making this video. There's a lot of work, hours and hours of work that have gone into it. And I hope that this video will be useful for you throughout the year. You can refer back to this video time and again. This is the forecast for your health. That has to be the number one priority, for your career, for your relationship, and also for your financial prosperity, financial well-being. Of course, I could have increased many other areas of life as well, but I thought, okay, 4 major areas are more than enough to give you something as a goodwill gesture for the year 2026 for your preparation. So let's talk about your health. Being Leo ascendants, this is the year of Sun, Surya. All right. So most importantly, you have to watch your habits, particularly between February through June. What transits matter for you? Saturn's transit is your 6th lord, making a transit in the 8th house. Jupiter's transit matters for you because Jupiter will later have an influence on your 6th house and also on your 12th house. Sun's monthly transit also matters, and at the same time, it is also the transit of Mercury that also plays an important role for you. So between February through June, your health could be impacted due to some erratic habits, some lifestyle choices. So you have to watch your health during this period and make a conscious decision from now onwards in order to make some conscious choices in your life. There could be some muscular issues, there could be issues related to tissue, also issues related to your legs. So while exercising in the gym, while running, doing any form of physical exercise or playing any form of physical sport, you have to generally be careful and do it under proper guidance. That is very important for you. You could be susceptible to these minor injuries, minor accidents that are related to physical exercises. There could be some hospital visits between August, September. So this is also one time period where you have to be a little bit careful. I would advise you to go for a regular routine health checkup, and at the same time, you're able to fulfill your karmic duties here. Year end is great. Post September is an excellent time for health. Your health will come back on track. You will make this a priority. I would say that you make it a priority from the start of this year, but towards the end of this year, if you have any persistent health issues, that is going to reduce. If you have issues with regards to migraine, anything related to your head, or probably running cold or any allergies that you have, September through December, I expect these issues to significantly improve or you to find a solution to these ongoing persistent issues. Now let us talk about your career. This is where Sun's transit, Venus's transit, Mars transit and Saturn's transit plays a very important role. Even Jupiter's transit plays a very important role for positional growth. Your career will have sudden changes this year. Alright, suddenly you're working on something and all of a sudden either your boss changes or you get a new project, or there are some structural changes, new work assignment, or you're asked to move to a different place. So you would be put in an uncomfortable position momentarily. So just be prepared for it. It could increase the levels of stress initially, but this will bring you heavy responsibility. This will bring you greater amounts of progress over the course of next few months. April through July is a significant time period for your career growth, for your career progression, for your career development as well. But before that, yes, the trend will be New project, new assignment. Some change, you're trying to cope up with this change. Here's another change for you. So be change ready, be experimental, and avoid any kind of resistance. Between April to July, it is your opportunity window for stepping into bigger roles, for stepping into prosperous roles, and of course, stepping into newer, bigger opportunities for yourself, for your career progress. This year, you must focus on building cordial, long-lasting relationship with other people and also on your personal brand, particularly in the second half of the year, because you could have a chance of low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and you have to consciously be expressive, step out of your comfort zone, consciously build your personal brand, and of course, you have a greater opportunity to link with your old organization, somewhere you used to work with in the past, or some people who you were working with, your ex-bosses, ex-colleagues. This is a great year for you, particularly between April through August, for you to touch base with all of these people who probably you were working in the past, and also a great opportunity to expand your network and build greater insights for yourself. Let us talk about relationship. This is where Saturn's transit plays a very important role. Of course, Jupiter's transit, Mars's transit plays a very important role, and Venus's transit also plays a very important role. Now this year, a word of caution is that you must avoid a serious relationship friction at all cost, because this could be emotionally very heavy for you. See, second half of the year, the emotions are going to be very high, very heavy. So you could have some isolation tendencies as well. This is because of the Ketu's transit and Jupiter's transit simultaneously. Now, if you isolate to think, reflect, and focus on your personal well-being, it is good. All right. Self-isolation continues to build up, and more so after March, when Ketu will be very strong. So you would probably feel isolated. There needs to be a balance in terms of your expression and other person's expression as well. And of course, in terms of expectations in relationship, you have to be very realistic. You might have a tendency of stepping away from the situation or avoiding a discussion, avoiding an argument, right? You have to step into the situation. Even if you argue, you debate, you probably have a very healthy discussion. Listen to the other person. A friction must be avoided at all cost. There is definitely a yoga that is there for marriage, predominantly between mid-January through mid of April, mid of March precisely, and then from mid of April till mid of June and also till August, more likely, there is a yoga for getting married. Second half of the year, I expect relationship matters to gradually get better. Even in the first half, there is great protection. Your partner's health, in case you're married, it is under great protection. They could have some financial gains, they could have some financial rise. Now in the second half of the year, you must take some time off and travel with your partner. In case you're married or you're in a relationship, you make some travel plans. This is where you'll be able to strengthen that bond and strengthen those ties as well. Let us understand how this year is for you from a financial standpoint. There are definitely very strong Dhan yogas. Between February through June is your time window based on multiple transits, the transit of Jupiter, the transit of Rahu, Venus, Mercury. There are very strong Dhan yogas. Rahu continues to be in directional strength in the 7th house. Of course, this brings heaviness in relationship, but this is supportive for financial prosperity. So is Jupiter's transit in the 11th house and Jupiter aspecting Rahu. So there is a chance of increased wealth, increased income, a new opportunity, but this will come with stress. With money, with finances, it will bring high amounts of stress. Bigger, greater responsibilities. You will feel that heaviness. There will be a lot of expectations that other people have from you, and you might feel burdened. So this is where you have to take into some self-control techniques, and of course meditation, yoga, sadhana. A morning routine will be very helpful for you. Do Surya Namaskar, morning yoga, pranayam, that could be absolutely helpful, or some sort of meditation techniques. Take into account that your expenses will increase in August, September. So August, September, you have to be mindful of your expenditure, you have to cut down your expenditure. Perhaps you have to accumulate, save some before that, so you can manage these months of heavy expenditure. Do some sort of budget planning. Weekly expense tracker, monthly expense tracker, something of this sort will be extremely helpful for you. Save as much as you can before August so that it is useful for you in any difficult, in any challenging times when it comes to survival, when it comes to living a comfortable life as well. You have to accumulate a lot in the first half of this year. This has to be the greater focus area in your life. I hope you prioritize your health, your financial well-being, and at the same time you strengthen your relationship at all cost, and you have a stable career as well. My best wishes for the year 2026. Virgo ascendant signs, the year 2026, and what is this year bringing for you in 4 important areas of life. This is one of the most unique, detailed videos on 2026, wherein I am taking into account these 4 areas: your health, your career, your relationship, and also your financial well-being, financial prosperity through the year 2026, and what is that you can expect. So let us prioritize health this year and talk about health. And of course, this video will go a long way. You might watch this n number of times through the year. It will help you in all stages of life and of course in all intervals of life through the year 2026. Transits, you need to understand, relate with your ongoing dashas, with the ongoing yogas in the chart. Transits solely will not give you results. It has to be aligned with the time periods. In terms of your health, this year for you is the year of changing lifestyles for better health. This is by the virtue that Rahu and Ketu are making a transit in your 6-12 axis. Saturn is gaining directional strength, and Rahu is under the beneficial aspect of Jupiter for the first half of this year. And of course, keeping in mind some other transits as well, you have to focus a lot on bringing your lifestyle on track, because the issues that you will have this year are related to food, stomach, because of lifestyle decisions. Any health issues that would crop up, that would come, would be due to your actions. Now, from a remedial point of view, you make some donations. Make some donations towards hospitals, towards charitable institutions who are supporting health and well-being of other people, or donate to those people who have some sort of physical challenges or some sort of disability that is there. So differently abled people as well. So you have to make some donations there from a karmic standpoint. This will be very helpful for you. The first half of the year is still very good for health, very good for vitality. Jupiter continues to shower a beneficial aspect on your 6th house. If there are any past health issues, I expect between mid-March till mid-June, you should get some sort of resolution. You should get some sort of development during this time. Now, you need to be mindful because your mental level stress is likely to increase between August through October. These months you will be under high amount of stress. That could cause some physical discomfort as well, because there will be a lot of external pressures from your spouse, pressure from your relationship, from your family, from your work, from other people. So as much as you take in those external pressures, external expectations, it will have a detrimental impact on your well-being, on your mental health, and also affecting your physical health. So please keep yourself away from these pressures. If you take these pressures, be prepared for taking these pressures so you can manage this as well. Watch what you eat and please manage your gut health, particularly in the second half of this year and also around mid of this year, because any gut related issues could be quite serious in your case. So avoid oily food, avoid outside eating, and of course minimize. Try to bring in more discipline in your life. Saturn aspecting your Lagna demands a lot of discipline. It brings lethargy, it brings laziness as well. But there is no scope of laziness, there is no scope of lethargy. Please get up, go out there, work out, exercise, and do anything that you can in terms of changing your lifestyle. Let us now focus on your career. In terms of your career, Mercury plays a very important role, Venus plays a very important role, Saturn plays a very important role, and these 3 becomes Karak Graha for you. Jupiter also plays a very important role when we talk about businesses. There is massive, major career growth before June. Job related growth, finances related to job, related to business should grow. Your business should grow in case your dasha and the dasha is supportive. Even if it is not supportive, you will have least challenges before June when it comes to your career. Most importantly, after March, you will see a very progressive phase of new opportunities, bigger roles, better roles, more meaningful work, and of course, be prepared to manage workplace politics, because if you will step into new roles, you will have to navigate these controversies as well. Challenging team dynamics, structural changes, other people's behavior, and of course, you will come across very knowledgeable people who could cause a sense of obstruction because they will be egoistic, they will have a lot of authoritative power on you, and manage these dynamics and these relationships and take into account your reactive behavior. You do not need to react in these situations, rather be very proactive. Some structural changes at work can impact your work and could momentarily bring some difficult times. This is more or less expected around mid of this year. Now be very clear of your expectations, whether your expectations with your bosses, with your supervisors, with your leadership, and of course with the other people. Because you could be in a situation wherein it might be very difficult for you to say no to specific work, and you could be overloaded here. Especially in the second half of this year, between October through December, there could be an increased overload. So you manage your expectations before that, so that you're in a good position to perhaps look at doing only that kind of work that is realistic and that you can fulfill. Only commit what you can achieve, because otherwise it could be detrimental towards your career growth. Now let's talk about relationship matters as well. Now in terms of relationship matters, there are a number of grahas that are important for you. Jupiter becomes important, Venus becomes important, Mercury becomes important, Rahu also becomes important, because Rahu's transit is in the 6th house. Rahu, Ketu are in the 6-12 axis here. Now in spite of coldness, cold tendencies in relationship that Saturn naturally brings in the 7th house, but Saturn brings a lot of stability as well. It is making you move towards stability. This year is the year of consistency in relationship. So two areas of life, which is work as well as relationship, you will bring a lot of consistency. There is definitely an ego clash that can happen with your partner due to expectations. You might have a sense of expectation of your partner to also be very organized, or you having a very nagging kind of an attitude. So be very mindful of those kind of behaviors wherein you expect other people to do things that you like to do. So this is where you can overpower, and this will be predominantly be there within the first half of this year. January through June, Saturn's moving very fast pace, at a very fast pace, and of course you will be organized. You will expect other people to be organized and follow your footsteps, and this could be a cause of concern. So please watch your relationship and try to protect it at all cost. Those who are unmarried or looking to get married, they have a very strong yoga between June through November. So mid-June through mid-September is one time period, and thereafter mid-October till mid-November is also another time period wherein there is a strong possibility of either getting into a new relationship, or you can very well get married as well. Your aim, your task, and of course your thinking would be to step into a mature relationship, to move away from your toxic past. See, if you've had some toxic past, that is going to haunt you this year. Some memories might reflect, and this is your opportunity for you to move away from toxic past relationship to a fruitful and a more mature relationship this year, and this is where the energies needs to be invested. About your financial wellness, financial prosperity, there is certain either accumulation of debt or repayments of debt that is indicated before March this year. Rahu moving through 6th house, and of course Ketu also stepping into Magha Nakshatra, all these are indications that before March you have to do some financial planning. If you're trying to take a loan for your house, or of course for other reasons, or getting into some new debts, you have to do very serious, very diligent financial planning here. It might not become burdensome for you. So this is where you have to be careful. A rise in income is expected between June through September. There are very favorable Dhan Yogas by the virtue of Jupiter's transit, by the virtue of Saturn's transit, by the virtue of Mercury's transit as well. And at the same time Venus is transit. So there are multiple Dhan Yogas that are working very well between June through September. I could expect a rise in your income for you to get some promotion, bonus, or stepping into a new job, new role, or new business opportunities that gives you more money, more finances. This is also an year where your spouse, for those people who are married, will have major financial gains. This is also indicated post June. So your family level prosperity is going to increase in the second half of this year. And if there are any joint assets, you're trying to sell those assets, maybe do some real estate transaction, you will gain more than what you expect. And some past investments can also bring some very good gains for you this year, particularly in the second half of this year. And I hope you continue to focus on your health as your number one priority, your financial well-being, and at the same time, prioritize your relationship and your career decisions as well. May you have the best 2026 ahead. For Libra ascendant signs, the year 2026. In this video, I'm going to give you a detailed view of 4 important areas of your life, which is health, your career, relationship, and also financial well-being, where I am taking into account some of the most important transits of the year, the transits of Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu, and also taking into account the transits of Mars, Venus, Mercury, as well as Sun, to give you the highs during certain months, the low periods during certain months, and of course how you can make the most of it. And this is a unique representation. This video for you will go a long way. You can watch it a number of times throughout the year, will help you in terms of your planning. So let's see what the year 2026 is bringing in store for Libra ascendant signs or the rising Lagna sign. Let's talk about your health. So health related matters, Venus's transit plays an important role. Jupiter, who's your 6th lord, plays a very important role. Of course, Venus also becomes the 8th lord of suddenness, longevity, death-like situation. Mars and Mercury also play a very important role. Now, this year, by the virtue of the transit of Saturn as well as Jupiter, first half, Saturn will be in your 6th house, Jupiter will be making a transit in the 9th house and aspecting your ascendant. They are giving great health protection this year. Saturn, whichever house it makes a transit, it does give some sort of protection with regards to matters of that house. It brings discipline. In the 6th house, it is going to bring discipline in your daily routine. You will have good physical level health. So physical level immunity is very much protected till June. It is an opportunity for you to bring a change in your lifestyle. Now, something that can bother you could be stomach related issues, food related issues. And Saturn is a very cold planet. 6th house represents your digestive system. So when it makes a transit here, you must avoid cold food, you must avoid processed foods. This is something wherein you have to stay away from. March through May, because of the transits, different transits that are there, you have a sensitive phase when it comes to health related issues. So you could face some issues, face some challenges. There could be some hospital visits. This is with regards to the transit of Mercury, transit of Mars, so the collective view that I am taking into account. This year you also have some tendency to develop some muscular issues, particularly with your legs. So if you are in some form of physical sports or if you do some physical exercise, you have to exercise utmost caution. Now, if you had any past chronic issues, past health issues, after June, I do expect a sense of respite, because June onwards, Jupiter will be having a 9th aspect on your 6th house. Saturn will be there by the virtue of the double transit. It is under great protection. So any past health issues that have been there and you're looking forward to recovery, this is your time post June wherein you could see some sort of respite, some sort of recovery from previous health issue. But yes, this year you have to prioritize your health, you have to prioritize your well-being, start exercising, yoga, pranayama, and of course, these are certain times wherein you could make the most of this particular year. Let us focus on your career, either your job, profession, business, whatever you do, what this year is bringing for you. There are significant transits that are happening. Now, first half of the year, I do expect certain blockages, certain delays when it comes to a job change, when it comes to stepping into a new opportunity. Till May, I do expect things to get a bit delayed and you to have a delayed phase. But after that, however, you will still have a renewed sense of confidence. But after that, there is a great growth phase that is there. Particularly during June, July, you can expect new opportunity. You can expect yourself to step into a new role, a new position. This is the peak of your career that I expect between June and July. Now, you would also look at stable opportunities this year. So your aim should be to step into stable opportunities that gives you some sort of long-term view, because you could develop some issues with seniors at work, with your supervisors, with your managers, with your leaders. This is predominantly going to be there between September, October. So these are 2 months wherein you have to be careful with regards to some authority issues, with regards to some leadership related issues. But there is massive career expansion June through August. This is going to be your time to shine because Jupiter has a favorable transit. Saturn also has a favorable transit, coupled with the favorable transits of Venus as well as Mercury. This is your time for growth, really realizing your net worth, and that will be built through your network. So focus on building your network, building your personal brand, collaborations, and of course strategic partnerships. In case you are in a business, this year you will build multiple partnerships, and this is also a time wherein you will get support from people who have authority, people who are very knowledgeable, and this is your time to shine. You're going to step into new, bigger, brighter roles. But of course, you have to exercise caution as well during the first half of the year, wherein you could have some career related issues or a delayed phase when it comes to job related matters. Let us try and understand what this year is for you in terms of relationship matters. So this is where Mars's transit plays a very important role. Of course, Jupiter's transit, Venus's transit, and Saturn, even Rahu and Ketu's transit plays a very important role. So there will be an heavy inclination that you will have this year to step into a romantic relationship, because Rahu is making a transit in the 5th house and it is under Jupiter's control, Jupiter's aspect till June. So first half of the year is very favorable for stepping into a romantic relationship, because your sense of communication, your senses will work till the utmost potential and your decisions are going to be right. But you should step into a mature relationship. Even if it's a romantic relationship, you just need to have some caution between April through August, where there is a sensitive phase for relationship matters. There could be conflict, there could be temperamental issues, high temperament, and of course you could expect some sort of communication issues that could also be there between April through August this year. For those people who are not married and are looking forward to getting married, end of the year, I do see a favorable yoga for marriage. This is purely based on transit between October through December. It's not that you cannot get married at any point in time of the year or other times of the year. It depends on your ongoing dasha, antardasha, and of course the current yogas that are active in your chart. But purely from transit, end of year, yes, there is a favorable yoga, there's a favorable circumstances for you to be getting married. This year can also lead to some sort of physical distance with your spouse, with your partner, and not ideal for new relationships. Some time period of this year, besides one time window which I have mentioned to you, wherein first half of the year you would be inclined towards stepping into a romantic relationship. Otherwise, this year is not very likely or not very favorable for stepping into new relationships. Now, particularly, you must try not to bring your ego, because that could be the primary cause of causing blockages in new relationship and also in your existing relationship, the major cause of conflict. So this is where you have to be careful, and because Jupiter has a strong transit which could inflate your ego, Saturn and Rahu making a transit in your 5th house again will inflate your ego. You would want to step into a dominant position, and this is something which you have to consciously channel and control. Do remedies related to Venus. How is the financial outlook for you this year? So between August through October, there are very strong Dhan yogas, supportive of financial growth, financial prosperity, some sort of incentive, a rise in your income, bonus, or any delayed payments can very well come through between August through October. You will improve your financial position. Before that, you have to focus on saving, because in the first quarter of this year, January through March, your expenses will increase. You must incur expenses on dharma, donate to religious places, and of course, incur expenses on your family. This is something which you must do. But before March, please try not to be impulsive and try to save as much as you can. Now, May through July is also a period wherein you could expect some sort of increment, a rise in your financial position, gains from either your old investments or some new meaningful investments that you're likely to make between May through July. It's a very favorable phase. This time period, you can also see that you will get involved in some new debts. If these debts are related to home or a house, it is good debt. You will have the repaying capacity. You would be in a very good position to buy a new property and take a loan for that property as well. And you should be in a very good position when it comes to real estate, or you would be repaying some of your debts in the first half of this year. Financially, I do expect this year to be prosperous for you, and I hope that you make the most of your good health, your career growth, career development, focus on that, meaningful relationship, and also stability in your finances, and may you have a wonderful 2026. Scorpio ascendant signs, the year 2026, what is it bringing for you? This is my detailed view wherein I have categorized this video into 4 life categories, very important categories, which is your health. That has to be the number one priority in the year 2026 because it is the year of vitality, your career, relationships, and also your financial development, financial prosperity. Of course, there could be other areas of life as well that we could probably focus, family and other matters as well. But we'll try to cover all of these aspects in this unique interpretation wherein I have taken into account most important transits, all the transits into place. I have done a lot of research and this video will come a long way. We're going to talk about specific months which are your highs and of course specific months where you have to exercise utmost caution. And you can watch this video throughout this year n number of times for your planning and for your prosperity as well. So let's talk about health related matters for Scorpio ascendant signs or the rising sign or your Lagna. So this year, you could expect sudden health conditions, sudden health changes, sudden health developments between January through March. So you have to exercise utmost caution. I'm not trying to fearmonger or probably instill any kind of fear, but some past health issues. When Jupiter is making a move in a retrograde motion, Rahu is making a transit in your 4th house and Jupiter is aspecting Rahu. Some past health issues can resurface, so you have to exercise utmost caution. Be very careful if you had some sort of health condition maybe few years ago. So be careful of your lifestyle, be careful of your choices, and of course make sure that you keep yourself under observation, that you keep yourself under great check. Post June, there is great protection. June through November, there is great sense of protection because this is when Jupiter will be aspecting your Lagna. It will be aspecting Saturn, so it is giving you a great immunity boost. It is giving you a great sense of protection as well. I do not expect massive health concerns or any red flags, particularly this year, but your diet needs to be very careful of your diet, what you eat, and some natural home related remedies will work very well for you. Second half of the year, please watch your weight. Based on multiple transits, transit of Sun, Jupiter, Venus, you will have the tendency to expand. And of course, you have to watch what you eat, take care of your gut. Some home related remedies such as yoga, Ayurveda, some sort of meditation, breathing exercise, pranayam should work very well for you to keep your lifestyle at check. This year is also bringing certain health condition which could be related to your hormones, especially for women. So this is where you have to be careful. So August, September are 2 months wherein some issues related to your hormones can trigger sudden health condition, can come into account. But first half of the year is an opportunity for you to fix your lifestyle, to focus a lot on conscious choices, what you will make for your life. For example, keeping yourself hydrated and bringing some changes in your dietary requirement, exercising, some sort of physical exercise is mandatory this year to ensure that you remain disciplined about what you do and at the same time you take care of your gut health. This is a must do for you. Now let's talk about your career, how your career, job related matters will prosper, will progress. So firstly, you should expect unexpected work, new work opportunities, newer projects, something that you've never done in the past between January through March. So the first quarter of the year, you have to stay conscious in all aspects of life, because your work can have a detrimental impact on your health and well-being, on your family as well, on other matters too. So try and stay low-key. Be prepared for getting new assignment, new kind of work. Be prepared for experimenting and trying new things. Mid-year, a movement is indicated. So you could have a change of place, change of work location. This could put you in a slightly comfortable position eventually. But due to this movement, there is also some travel that is indicated between June through November. June through November, there will be good work-related travel. In case your job needs travel, travel will bring much growth opportunities for you, because the only way you can grow is if you move around in the second half of this year. Now, there could be some authority issues, there could be some leadership issues, there could be some workplace politics. You have to stay away from toxic environments. This is most likely in the first quarter of this year and also until the first half of this year. July onwards, I would expect workplace politics, toxicity to reduce, but before that, you are susceptible to such environments. And for your benefit, you must maintain a good work-life balance. You should be assertive to others in terms of getting new work. Be very clear of your expectations, because if you say yes to everything, then this could be detrimental towards your work life, and of course you will feel a lot burdened. This is a year which could bring very promising growth opportunities. A promotion is also indicated in the second half of the year. Towards the end of the year, I do expect it to be very progressive between October through December. This is when Jupiter will momentarily make a transit in your 10th house. And of course, Saturn will also gain momentum. So you have a greater chance to step into a much senior role or an authoritative position towards the end of this year. Let us talk about how this year is going to be from a relationships point of view. You know, your relationship, whether you're married or you're not married, you're single. This year, your focus needs to be in terms of strengthening your relationship and moving away from any past issues. If you've had any past issues with regards to relationship, you need to bury the hatchet, you need to resolve those issues and move forward. April and May, these are 2 months which are very promising, very good for strengthening your relationship and also very good for stepping into a new relationship. You could see yourself stepping into a new relationship during this time. And if you're already in a relationship, if you're already married, let's say, you will focus a lot on strengthening the bond with your partner. This year, if you have marriage plans, if you have plans to settle down, for those who are not married, there could be a delayed phase that you would see. Your 7th house is under the aspect of Saturn, and by the virtue of transits that Venus will make and also Jupiter will make, and your Lagna Lord Mars, this could cause a bit of delay in terms of marriage, in terms of you settling down in life. So I do not see a very potential, very favorable yoga for marriage. Unless your dasha supports, unless existing yoga supports, then of course you can. After June, you could also have high temperament in terms of your relationship. You could come across some communication, some ego issues. So watch your words, watch the potential conflicts that you have. November and December are great months for your partner. If you already are in a relationship, they can have some gains during this time. They can have work-related progress. However, if any joint decisions need to be taken with regards to investment, with regards to your joint assets, you have to be very careful. You can delay those decisions if you can. Let us talk about your financial prosperity, your financial well-being, and if there are any strong Dhan Yogas and when these Dhan Yogas are very much active during this time. So let me share that your focus on savings needs to be there between March through June. This is a time when your expenses are likely to increase. So either before this time or during this time, you have to focus on savings. You have to focus on reducing your expenditure consciously. So it is better that the first quarter of the year you do some sort of budget exercise and you do monthly, weekly budget exercise, track your expenditure and be prepared for any financial turmoil between March through June. So momentarily there could also be a break in your income, but of course that will align with your Dasha Antardasha, or some sort of uncertainty or financial blockages is somewhat indicated. This should get better in the second half of this year. July onwards, I do see much betterment, and August, September, again, there is anticipated change of flow, or of course monetary flow of money through business, through job, through work, some sort of investment, delayed payments to come your way, and it indicates to be a promising year in the second half when it comes to your financial prosperity, when it comes to your financial development, and also your accumulation. But before that, you have to be careful, you have to not be impulsive, and of course focus a lot on savings and making the right investment decisions as well. I hope you make the most of this year by prioritizing your health, your financial well-being, and at the same time balancing your work and your family life. Wishing you the very best of 2026. Sagittarius ascendant signs, the year 2026. This is my unique and detailed representation wherein I am going to talk about 4 important areas of your life: your health, your career, your relationships, and your financial well-being, financial prosperity. And of course, with regards to health and your relationship, you can also further assess your family related situation or family condition as well. These are the 4 major areas that I thought could be useful for you, and this video will come a long way. You can refer to this n number of times, you can watch it all throughout the year, and of course it will help you at various intervals of your life. And of course, you need to align these transits based on the dasha that you're running and based on the current yogas that are there in your chart. I have taken into account all transits: Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, also the transit of Mars, Venus, Sun, and Mercury. So let's talk about your health for Sagittarius ascendants, what this year is bringing for you. So firstly, you will have very high levels of confidence this year. When there is high level of confidence, you will take conscious steps in improving your health. You will look after yourself. Particularly in the first half of the year, it is your time to shine and minimize any blockages, and you are under great protection. So firstly, Jupiter aspecting your Lagna is giving you a sense of great protection till June. Saturn making a transit in your 4th house is going to be very fast paced, will bring a lot of discipline at home. If you follow some home related rituals, remedies, yoga, pranayam, meditation, sadhana, or some sort of morning routine, if you fix your morning, you rise early, you do some practice for 30 to 45 minutes in the morning, you are in a way channeling Saturn in the most appropriate way. Also Rahu making a transit in the 3rd house. Keep your home and surroundings clean. If you want better health, declutter your home. This is where the solution lies. So till June, you are under great protection. Now some issues can resurface which are linked to the past. Some past health issues, similar patterns you will see, something that you felt maybe a few years ago. This is most likely post-June. And those people with some genetic conditions, with some hereditary issues, or female with some hormonal issues need to be careful after June. June through November, some of these issues can trigger, which are mostly related to your lifestyle. Sudden hospital visits are indicated between June, July particularly. This is where you have to be careful. Get yourself checked up before that. Go for a regular routine health checkup so that you investigate and you're taking a proactive step. By consciously visiting the hospital, you're also putting a karmic action in place, because when the time period suggests that yes, there could be a visit, you must take into account certain steps. And of course, some home related remedies will absolutely work wonders for you. Include turmeric in your diet, saffron in your diet, and of course you can consume that on a daily basis, either in milk or add it in your tea or coffee. And you practice yoga, sadhana, or some strength-based training, strength-based exercises. Strengthen your sun, which will give you vitality, which will give you immunity. Offer water to sun, that will give you much brightness in your life and also good health and looking after your well-being. Let us now talk about your career, where Mercury's transit plays a very important role, Jupiter's transit, Saturn's transit, because he is the natural Karam Karak, and also Sun and Mars's transit plays a very important role. This year is the year of business expansion, business growth, which is most likely between March through June. This is your time to shine, to make some of the most vital key decisions related to your business. These could be job related decisions as well. If you're looking forward to a promotion, elevated role, some sort of career progression, March through June, some possibility can be there. Or if you do not get promoted during this time, circumstances or situation will become favorable for a future promotion. June through September is a little bit of an unsettling phase or period for your career. You might step into a new role and you feel unsettled. You might get a new project, new assignment, and you may feel unsettled, or you could see a structural change, some sort of org change, which could probably cause an unsettling period. But saving grace is that your confidence will still be high. When your confidence is high, you will navigate through these things because your decisions are very much on a right side, on a brighter side. Major career decisions needs to be taken before June. I do not expect you to take major career decisions after June unless you get a very good opportunity. You certainly can. But this year, there is a continuous issue with bosses, with leaders, with those who hold an authority, particularly March onwards. March through October, you have to be careful with leadership issues, with authority issues. Ketu will be moving through Magha Nakshatra in your ninth house, very strong transit. Rahu will also be in Shatabisha Nakshatra momentarily. And of course, March through August is a time period wherein you could face some severe authority issues. Try and stay low-key, try and build cordial relationship. There could be some org changes, either change in leadership, change in your boss, or change in your work location. You will be forced into be putting in a different, probably a location or some sort of unnecessary, irrelevant change at your work. Be very assertive. Please do not say yes to everything. Don't become a yes man or a yes woman. This is where you have to manage the expectations with other people. Saving grace is that this year you will get good support of your peers and also your subordinates. It's only the bosses wherein you are likely to struggle. Let's see how your relationships are this year and of course what this year is bringing for you. So firstly, for those people who are looking forward to getting married, settling down in life from a personal point of view, there is a very strong yoga. Firstly, between mid-January through mid-March, there is a very strong yoga, very strong possibility. If you don't get married, you could probably find a potential new partner. The other yoga is between mid-April through mid-June, wherein there is also a very strong possibility for you to get married. If there have been any delays, I do not expect much delays here, but yes, second half could be slightly challenging. Second half could be slightly difficult when it comes to relationship and also conflicts. Some conflicts are also indicated between May through July. These are sensitive phases. There could be a communication gap, there could be some misunderstanding, there could be some physical distance that might be created due to work travel, or of course due to some other reasons as well, which you have to probably be prepared with. Try and stay low-key and try and step into the situation. See, because you cannot step away from the situation. If there's a misunderstanding, if there's a communication gap, it is better that you clarify at the right time and you clarify as soon as you can, because then things could get delayed, because this is a sensitive phase for you wherein you have to exercise utmost caution. July onwards, your desires, your expectations are going to be very high from your partner. So you have to have some sort of mutual respect, mutual understanding. So be very realistic of your expectations, because this could result in a conflict, this could result in some sort of misunderstanding, or this could lead to further arguments. Be very realistic in setting expectations. Have minimum expectations, something which I would recommend, particularly post-July. This is also a period wherein you have to be a bit conscious. Your communication towards the end of the year is likely to improve. You will demonstrate maturity in relationship. This is a much cordial phase that I would expect October through December, where I do see some sense of respite when it comes to relationship matters. While let's understand how your financial prosperity, financial development is this year, and of course, are there any strong Dhan yogas that are pretty much active? So there are strong Dhan yogas at the start of the year itself. Between mid-January to mid of February, there are very good chances for you to have a rise in your income, to get some sort of incentive, bonus, or an increment, or a very good possibility to start a secondary source of income, a secondary business that you can start on the side in case you're working, you're in a job. And I always advise, in this age, people should have a side hustle. And this year is important for you, for your financial prosperity, for your financial stability, and most importantly, security. You must have something on the side, because some home related expenses are likely to increase towards the end of the year. So you have to have some financial backup, because October through December you will see your expenses to increase. Even between March through June is a period wherein you could have some heavy home related expenses. Saturn will be moving very fast in your 4th house by the virtue of Venus's transit and also Jupiter's transit. Your expenses are going to increase, so please save before that or avoid any major home related expenditure. Any major investment should be avoided in the second half of this year. First half is very good for you to make financial decisions, make any investment decisions, and of course some fluctuations are expected in the second half of the year. So I would ask you to avoid any major financial decisions during that time. Take care of your accumulation, try and save as much as you can in the first 3 to 4 months of this year. Try to be conservative as well. Try not to spend on other people, particularly in organizing social gatherings, because you will have that inclination. I hope that you take care of your health, you protect your financial well-being, and at the same time strike a balance between your work and your relationships. Wishing you the very best in the year 2026. Capricorn ascendant signs, the year 2026, what this year is bringing for you in terms of 4 important aspects or areas of your life: your health, career, relationship, and also your finances, your financial development, your financial prosperity. This is my unique representation. I have done a lot of research before I decided to make this video, and I've taken into account multiple transits through the year: Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Venus, Sun, Mars, Mercury. And of course, I have identified the highs and lows in certain intervals based on different aspects of your life. And this is your video for your planning for 2026. And of course, you can watch this n number of times all through the year. You can overall, time and again, refer to this. Let's talk about your health. The number 1 priority should be your health in the year 2026. In the first quarter of the year, not that I'm trying to instill some sort of fear mongering, but January through March, you have to be careful because there could be some sudden health issue, sudden hospital visit, and there is significant improvement thereafter. But January through March, the first quarter, when Jupiter is retrograde in your 3rd house, Saturn is going to be moving very fast when Jupiter is retrograde in your 6th house, Saturn is going to be moving very fast in your 3rd house, and Rahu being placed in your 2nd house, the 2-8 axis as Rahu and Ketu, and of course the transit of Venus as well. Based on that, you have to be very careful and also be very careful towards the end of the year. So the start of the year, January through March, and end of the year, November, December. That's when momentarily you will have Jupiter, Ketu conjoined in your 8th house, can bring sudden health concerns related to stomach, liver, and your lower body parts. So this is where you have to exercise utmost caution. And you need to fix your lifestyle. First half of the year is a huge opportunity for you to bring in a 180-degree change in your lifestyle, because Jupiter is supportive in bringing that change, giving up bad habits, giving up bad company, and adopting good habits, bringing a sense of consistency in your life, taking care of your gut, what you eat, what you consume, because second half of the year you could have tendencies to gain weight. So before June, it is your time to fix your discipline. Your spouse's health can also have some concerns. This is most likely post-July. Before that, it is your health. After that, it is your spouse's health. But you have very good protection between June through October by the blessings of Jupiter and of course other favorable transits of Sun and also Mercury. You have a very good immunity during this time, but the last 2 months of the year or 3 months of the year is also a time wherein you have to exercise utmost caution. So this year you need to prioritize your health. That has to be your number 1 priority, because other aspects I do expect that you will prosper in terms of career, in terms of finances. But when there is health, that is the biggest wealth that could be there for you. So a slow approach, a slow period, take the necessary guidance, take the necessary advice or suggestion, because this year you will need a lot of advice in all aspects of your life. Let's talk about your career. What career is bringing for you? Of course, Venus's transit, Jupiter's transit, Saturn's transit, and Mercury's transit plays a very important role in terms of career related matters. So there is a career financial rise. I'm going to talk about this in the finances section as well, or change of location. Between February through April, you could have a rise in your income, a promotion, incentive, or a shift of location. A shift of location will bring prosperous work, will bring new opportunities. So if you were to grow, you need to look beyond where you are. In case you're not able to find something where you are, look beyond where you are, or probably be more creative in your approach. In case you have a CV that is not working well, you need to be a little bit creative. You need to think and use your own brains, your own judgment in order to make it more relevant to certain roles that you're applying. But February through April, you have a good chance to step into a new role, step into a new opportunity, or incredible opportunities could come your way. You can also see a rise in your income related to your job. September through November is also a phase that could land you in an elevated role, career progression, promotion, or a senior position, work related success. Whether you have business, your business will grow, you have a job, you will step into a new role, you will step into a bigger, better responsibility, and work success is inevitable between September through November. That is your opportunity to shine. Strong business growth for those people who run business is also indicated. You will step into new agreements, new partnerships, new alignment. Most likely after June is something which you will probably do. Now, beware of some blockages between May through July. There are necessary and of course some blockages that you would see. Some leadership issues, authority issues can come. Seniors could cause some blockages, or other people. You have to be very careful of other people because it's a sensitive phase for you wherein you could unnecessarily be involved in toxic environment or dirty politics or some office related grapevine or a political situation. Just be very mindful and diligent of your own work. Try not to be very judgmental about other people's work. Keep your opinions to yourself. Sometimes that is helpful. And overall, I do see this year to be very good from a career growth point of view. Some blockages that you've been facing in the last year or two is going to minimize, and you will have newer, bigger, brighter opportunities. Let's understand how this year is for you when it comes to relationship. This applies to those people who are married and also those people who are single. I'm going to talk about both these aspects. First half of the year, you have to exercise some caution. There is a delayed phase when it comes to stepping into a romantic relationship. So if you're looking forward to stepping into a new relationship or even getting married, for those people who are not married, there is a delayed phase that you're going to experience in the first half of this year. And there will be a mismatch in terms of your expectations with regards to your partner's expectation, and this is where there will be conflict. Particularly, you have to be careful between March through June when it comes to stepping into a new relationship or even managing your existing relationship, because ego and communication can be a cause of blockage. Now this year, there is a very good yoga for those people who want to get married. This is between July through November. And of course, your dasha should support, on your existing yoga should support by the basis of transit July through November. Most likely you could see yourself settling down. In case you are interested to get married, or circumstances, situation can be extremely favorable for you to getting married. Be careful of your temperament towards other people, all those people who are opposite to you. The timeline, March through August, is a time wherein your ego will be high, you will be in a dominant position, your temperament will be high, and this could lead to some sort of conflict situation, either with your spouse, your partner, or of course with all those people who are opposite to you. There could be some friction in relationship. As long as you can manage that, you are in a pretty good position. If you're married, your focus will be to strengthen the bond and gain mutual respect. This is the year to gain mutual respect in the partnerships that you establish, in new relationships that you stand or probably step into, and also in terms of your existing relationship. Your bond is likely to strengthen. Towards the end of the year, you also have to be a little bit cautious in terms of any continuous friction in your relationship. Manage your temperament, because you will be so worked up, you will be so focused on work that you might have some lack of balance in your personal life. Let us talk about your financial well-being, financial prosperity. This year, definitely there you have very strong Dhan Yogas, initially between February through April, and also between September through November, which could land you in a better financial position. This year has less blockages and more financial prosperity, which will gradually increase with time. Spend wisely, because during May through August, your expenses will increase. So you need to avoid unnecessary spend, you need to avoid any impulsive financial decision, any impulsive buying decisions, especially when it is major purchase. First half of the year, you have to be a little bit careful with this impulsive behavior, but gradually, I expect September through November, you to have major financial gains and financial boost this year. And this has to be a very stable year when it comes to your financial prosperity. But you have to prioritize your health and also your relationship. Careers and finances will still be on a high, but your personal relationship and health needs to be the priority areas for you. And my best wishes for the year 2026. Aquarius ascendant signs, the year 2026, what is this year bringing for you? This is the most detailed video that you will find, the most simplified one as well, wherein I am taking into account 4 important areas in your life. Your health, that has to be the number 1 priority, your career, your relationship, and also your financial well-being, financial prosperity. And of course, by the virtue of relationship, your well-being, you can also take into account things related to your family as well. And I do expect you to grow significantly this year. This is the year of growth. This is the year of vitality. Now let's try and understand what this year is bringing for you in terms of health. I have done a lot of research before I am presenting this video to you, before I'm sharing the analysis. I've taken into account all transits: Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu, Ketu, Venus, Mars, Mercury, even Sun. And of course, some highs and lows of the year. So this year, expect great improvement in your health, expect significant rise in your vitality, particularly in the first half of this year. This will only get better post-March. January through March, I do expect some sort of blockage, some sort of bad habits, some sort of issues with regards to your stomach. So please take care of your stomach, keep yourself hydrated, get a gut health check done, and be very mindful of the kind of food items that are not good for you, that are not good for your stomach. You are under great protection in the first half of this year, but mandatory dietary changes are needed, because when Saturn is making a transit in your second house, this is where you have to take care of your diet, take care of what you consume, take care of what you eat. And therefore, there has to be mandatory dietary changes. There have to be mandatory steps that you have to take in terms of food related changes, avoiding cold as well as processed food. Saturn and Jupiter will give you financial gains, but you have to look after your health. Second half of the year can bring minor health issues. You have to look after your lifestyle. These issues will be related to your lifestyle most likely. There is a delayed phase. See, Rahu, when making a transit in the ascendant, would want us to live a very extravagant lifestyle, would want us to experiment, indulge in food, indulge in other habits. And of course, this is where you have to take control. See, anything that is done in moderation is always okay. But if you go beyond moderation, then it could definitely be detrimental towards your health and well-being. And this time period is also bringing some sort of lethargy in your life. Second half, you could feel lazy, you could feel low in terms of energy. Your sleep could also have some adverse impact, which you need to protect in the second half of this year. This time period calls for some major lifestyle change. Undisciplined eating should not be there in your life, and of course, watch your weight. First half of the year, you would probably take more efforts. You will put more efforts if you were to cut down your weight, if you were to get in shape. But second half of the year is your opportunity to transform your body and of course step into disciplined eating, moving away from an undisciplined life to a much more healthy and conscious living. Let us talk about your career. We must take into account Mars' transit, Venus' transit, Saturn, who's a natural Karam Karak and also your Lagna Lord, Jupiter's transit and Mercury's transit as well. So this year brings for you massive job opportunities, career opportunities, mostly post-June. After June, Jupiter makes a sambandh or a connection with your 10th house. And of course, by the virtue of favorable transits of Venus, Mercury, and your Lagna Lord Saturn also would go retrograde after July, making it a very favorable circumstances of positive career change, newer, bigger, better opportunities coming your way. There can also be a shift of place, shift of residence post-June. This will be for good. You will be slightly uncomfortable in the beginning, but gradually you will step into a comfortable role. This year, You must change your job to get into a stable position, to get into a much more comfortable position, which will also bring some stability in your finances. I do not expect you to have a long break in terms of not getting a job or being unemployed, but stepping into newer, better opportunities. May through July is a restless phase, is a sensitive phase with regards to career related matters. If you're already in a job, you could have some blockages, you could have issues from other people at work, or you could get some new unnecessary additional responsibilities and add-on work that could be detrimental, and you might feel that you are a bit unsettled. Maintain calmness, maintain perseverance, increase your spiritual practice. I always encourage, if you fix your morning routine, 90% of the problems in your life with regards to career, with regards to blockages will get solved. And if you declutter the space around you, these are the two things that you must focus in the coming year. This year is the year of learning and also the year of personal development. So enroll yourself in a course that is much associated to your job, that could upskill yourself. Be very wary of the fact and informative in terms of the emerging trends, the upcoming trends, and how you can change with this fast changing time. And now let's try and understand how this year is going to be for you in terms of relationship. Are there any blockages or some prosperous time periods ahead? I would say that this is last opportunity for you. Ketu's be moving in your ascendant, last opportunity for you this year to overcome your isolation and any similar tendencies, any cold tendencies, any temperament changes, sudden temperament changes, sudden shift of temperament. Suddenly you're okay, suddenly you might have some aggressive tendencies. So this is a year to keep control. Niyantran is very important, and this is how you will be able to channel. Yoga, sadhana, some sort of morning routine, morning practice is inevitable. You must practice meditation because it helps you to be more aware. If you are be more aware, your conscious brain works very well. There are gains related to your partner. So those people who are married, your partner can have some gain between March through June. Financial gains, newer, bigger opportunities are indicated. This year, there's also possibility of marriage, but there is a delayed phase. See, the only time that I see a great possibility of marriage or a possible yoga, that usually depends on your dasha, but towards the end of this year, most likely after July, there's a favorable circumstances for you to get married, but mostly between October through December is a much favorable phase, a much favorable yoga is there. So either it could be towards the end of 2026 or early 2027, wherein those people who are single, who are a bachelor, can get married. Or you could take some decision. If there are any joint investment decisions, joint financial decisions with your partner, for those people who are married, you should take that in the first half of this year. That is most favorable for you to take some sound decisions, because your thinking will work to the best of your potential and your decision making will be very good by the virtue of Jupiter's transit and also Rahu's transit, coupled with Saturn's transit, which gives you sound financial advice. Now, talking about finances, let's try and understand how this year for you is in terms of your financial prosperity, financial well-being. This year, there's a lot of focus on self-earned wealth, and self-earned wealth will increase. There are very strong Dhan Yogas in the first half of this year. I expect you to start a secondary source of income, if not, you to have a rise in your income. Some repayments of debts are also indicated between July through October. Either you will repay debts or you will take new debts. If you're taking new debts, be very careful, be very mindful of making that decision if these debts are related to home, because the transit of Venus, Mercury and Jupiter at this time would help you, would support you to settle some debts for good. And of course, try not to be spendthrift. Try to channel your expenses. You need to bring that down. You need to control that. Try to capitalize on your savings. Try to accumulate. Make sure that you mandatorily save some part of your income, some part of your wealth, and any major financial decisions that you have to take, it is better that you take it in the first half of this year. Avoid taking those decisions in the second half of this year, which is not good for you in terms of making financial decisions. You will still get some financial prosperity, you will still get some career growth, you will get job related growth, but Personal financials, personal investment, maybe not the most ideal time. Rest, it will depend on your ongoing dasha as well as antardasha. So please prioritize your health and well-being and your financial development. And if that is taken into account, you need to strike a balance between your career, your work responsibility, and also your personal relationship. And I wish you the very best for the year 2026. Pisces ascendant signs, the year 2026, what is this year bringing for you? I am taking into account the most detailed video after days that I have spent in terms of research, looking at major transits of Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, also Venus, Mars, Mercury, as well as Sun, to come up with an analysis to support you in 4 aspects of life: your health, your career, your relationship, and also your finances, your financial development, your financial prosperity. And this video will go a long way for you in terms of understanding these energies and of course keeping things very simple for you. Also pinpointing certain months which are high months for you in different areas of life and certain months wherein you have to exercise utmost caution. Let us try and understand health related matters for you as Pisces ascendants or Pisces Lagna sign. So firstly, your confidence this year will be sky high. Your decision making will be right. When your confidence is high, when your decision making is right, you take conscious decision towards your health. You try and protect your health and well-being, and you are under great protection by the virtue of Saturn's transit, by the virtue of Jupiter's transit, who's making a transit in Kendra house. Of course, you will have sleep related issues. This is the only area wherein you have to consciously work, because if your sleep is disruptive, this will cause issues in terms of your energy level. Get yourself checked and be very serious about your sleep. This year protects you from any sudden or chronic illness, so that is good news for you. Most of the time this protection is going to be there. The first half of the year, second half, you are under a greater protection. Give you the power of discipline in your life. This time period is really bringing discipline. There will be some element of lethargy, some element of laziness, but as much as you embrace the disciplined qualities of Saturn, it is good for you. And take some good decisions with regards to your personal health, with regards to your personal well-being. Post June, you have to watch your weight. So in case you're looking to exercise, you're looking to bring your life back on track, get into shape, January through June is your time period, because after June till about October, November, it will take you more efforts to reduce. You might want to incline and of course experiment with food and indulge yourself in different kinds of food, travel as well. A lot of travel opportunities are going to come. So you could have some sort of undisciplined lifestyle there. So your very good protection is there June onwards, but you have to watch your weight. And of course, sleep is something which you have to be very serious about this year by the virtue of different transits. This year you must prioritize your health, you must prioritize your well-being. But one thing is sure, that any decision that you're taking this year, I think that this year is going to be fabulous for you in terms of all aspects of life. Now, when we're talking about other aspects as well, let's try and put some insight in your career development, your career progress, your career prosperity, and what kind of growth opportunities this year is bringing. So I'd like to share with you that this year is bringing massive career opportunities, massive major growth opportunities in your life, for you to help you reach in a senior position, elevated role, or stepping into an authoritative role. This is your time, this is your opportunity. You will get the support of your juniors, you will get the support of your peers. This is most likely after June. After June, you will get support of all the people who work with you. They're going to become your ambassadors. Throughout the year, it is your time to increase your knowledge, increase your wisdom, particularly if it is related to your work. From a remedial point of view, you must spend time in teaching others, in coaching others, in counseling others, in consulting others. Other people will reach out to you to take your suggestion, take your advice, and those people who are taking your advice will also get an opportunity to shine through. There are favorable Dhan Yogas related to your job between June through October. So this is your time to shine. most likely between July through September, you could step into an elevated role, you could step into a senior position by the virtue of Jupiter's transit, by the virtue of Mars's transit, and of course multiple other transits as well. You have a greater chance to step into an elevated role. So you must look for newer opportunities. This year you are changing jobs. If you're not changing jobs, you will have a significant change in terms of your role. This will put you in a better position. This will put you in an authoritative position, and some of the decisions that you will take with regards to your career, with regards to your work, will be the best decisions of your life for years to come. So this year, in spite of certain delays, yes, Saturn is going to bring in some delays, but the good news is Saturn brings delays. It doesn't bring denial. So there isn't a denial when it comes to career growth. There is a delayed phase wherein you have to exercise plenty of patience, plenty of perseverance. Of course, if you are looking to have an opportunity or get something new, it might not happen at the specific time interval when you think or want it to happen. A slight delayed phase that could most likely be there. You will get the support of your peers, you will get the support of your colleagues and those people who you work with post-June throughout the year. Between July to September is an excellent time for you to see some sort of career growth, some sort of elevated role, promotion, and of course could put you in a senior position or an authoritative role. So this year definitely, most likely, you're changing your role, you're changing your job, you're stepping into a newer role, bigger role, and this will also call a greater sense of balance between your work and your family life. This is where the focus needs to be there. Now, if we're talking about this, let's throw some light on relationship matters. Major focus this year is needed to balance your personal and your relationship priorities, striking a sense of balance. Saturn's making a transit in your Lagna, Rahu's making a transit in your 12th house, particularly in the first half of the year when Saturn will be moving very fast by the virtue of Venus's transit and Mars's transit. You would face a lot of challenges in terms of striking a balance between your expectations and the expectations of your partner in case you're already married. So the expectations alignment is very necessary, it is very essential. If you are single and looking forward to getting married, there is a delayed phase that you can expect. See, delays are often for good. It is protecting you from making a bad decision. It is helping you to make a wise decision. This is how you should consider delay. And stepping into a new relationship also, it is very important for you to have a mutual alignment in terms of expectations, in terms of what you agree, what you disagree, and of course where you stand. Some decisions, if they are needed with regards to personal assets, joint finances with your partner this year, you could take those decisions. You could very well make those decisions because your confidence will be high. If there are decisions related to joint real estate, you can also take those decisions in the first half of the year. So some delays are there. Marriage related situation could be more supportive in the second half of the year, or romantic relationship can also be very supportive in the second half of this year. But some months where you have to exercise utmost caution. April through May, you have to be very careful, very protective of your relationship. It's a slightly sensitive phase, and towards the end of the year as well. November, December is also a time wherein you have to exercise utmost caution. You have to avoid getting into any ego trap, and there could be some distance that could get created within your relationship with your spouse or with your partner. Now let's talk about your financial development, your financial growth, your financial prosperity. This year brings to you very strong Dhan yogas, particularly between July through October. Now this could be linked to your work as well, your business, your job, but there are major financial gains that are indicated. Either some delayed business related major payments, major inflow of funds, and some sound investment related returns. Some past investment can see you getting very good returns this year between July through October. There are very strong Dhan yogas by the virtue of Jupiter's transit, by the virtue of Mars's transit, and Venus and also Mercury's transit. And of course, this is bringing in Saturn's transit as well, that continues to be in your ascendant, and later in the year it will also go retrograde. Most importantly, your confidence, your behavior in dealing with your money, in dealing with your finances will be very good. But this year you must avoid stepping into new debts, particularly in the second half of the year or towards the end of the year. You must avoid stepping into new debts this year because that could be troublesome. That could cause a bit of a discomfort in your financial well-being. In case these debts are necessary, it's essential for, let's say, your business or for your home, you must think through and then decide. But you could very well repay some of your debts in the second half of this year by the virtue of greater, better financial possession, and this year to be very prosperous for you in most aspects of life. So this year I do expect phenomenal career growth, for you to be very confident, but you have to protect your relationship. You have to avoid getting into the trap of ego and make some sound financial decisions throughout this year. May you have a pleasant 2026 with a renewed sense of confidence and greater optimism in your life. So friends, this was the most unique and detailed video with regards to 2026, annual effects, annual predictions in 4 important areas of your life. I hope you like this video. Please feel free to share it with your friends and family. Stay tuned for more such videos on my channel throughout this year and of course subsequently in the coming year as well. Thank you very much. God bless you all.